Gentlemen, before I let you go ahead of the weekend, obviously, opening of the new season, I'm a bit bummed that the big game between Chiefs and Sundowns is coming now. I don't like these big games so early on in the campaign because both teams haven't really gotten going yet, and it's maybe. I mean, maybe we'll be lucky and they'll have some steam, and because it's early on, and go for it. But what are you expecting from what essentially are amongst two of the challenges for the new season?
Sure. I think it's going to be the game of the weekend,
Sure.
but not necessarily for the reasons that, like you're mentioning, that we would all like it to be. But it is we're going to see, I think, a little more Gavin on Chiefs. He's got a few more players available. It's also it's just going to be also interesting to see if any of the players that Sundowns have brought in are going to be different from the game, especially because they lost against Celtic.
Yeah.
Sometimes that already starts a bit of a not panicky situation, but you start making changes because you think something went wrong. And let's be fair. I mean, all they did was not score for most of that game until Celtic scored. Then Celtic woke up. But the truth is that it's gonna. I'm looking forward to see what two new technical teams do with what is going to be. It's a new start.
Yeah.
There are quite a few interesting little games that might not necessarily produce good football that I'm also interested in, like TTM versus TS Galaxy.
Sure.
That I have no idea what to expect. So that's quite kind of fun.
I think TTM will win that one. I put my neck out. I think
TTM will win
against TS Galaxy.
Okay.
I'm a huge Dan fan.
Yeah, I think because I agree they were in disarray admin-wise, but having watched that game again, there's something there. Those players just need to gel. And I think having that one game to say, okay, guys, this is what we are.
Where's the game? Is it in Toyando?
Where is that game?
I'll check for you now. Because I'll tell you what. One of the things I think it caught up with the Super Sport there in the second half was the heat. Yes. And you can see, and that game, remember, it didn't even start at 3:30. It started at 3,
Right.
Because in the second half, they could hardly run,
Sure.
And these guys, they were coming hard at them,
Sure.
So I think that's going to be very important on what's going to happen. I will tell you, I'm interested to see the teams which were battling relegation last season as to how they are going to start. Baroka, for starters. Baroka have had issues with their coach.
Sure.
And now the coach is not there, and not sure if they are trained by someone. Maybe he's got a D license, I don't know. But, but look, there's someone that I trust in that technical team who's there. I will not mention his name.
Yes.
Not the assistant coach, But, and we must do better in this. We must have credible and qualified coaches at this level. So there
is there any truth to the fact that the coach who's been put on suspension, I guess, was being disrespectful to his colleagues? That's why they had to kind of put him out. I mean, I'm hearing conflicting stories, and some of them kind of make sense as to why he might have been put on ice, but it can't be, in a self-defeating move ahead of a brand new season.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm with you there. Because whatever the issues were, those issues should have been dealt with internally. And I don't understand why that process would take this long, Somebody was telling me that maybe they've been given the caretaker team has been given some few matches to see how it goes, because for me, I don't understand. I don't understand why there would be a situation where, because the DC process is controlled by the club.
Right.
If they wanted to deal with it quickly, they could have done that long time ago, you know. And you don't want also to have a situation where the team doesn't start well, and then now you bring him to come and sort out the mess, you know. You know. So, but look, sometimes, yes, I hear what you're talking about of the coach, maybe disrespecting his technical team. But there's always two sides to a story.
Sure.
You know, so we should also look at that one as well. So, in terms of the matches, I'm interested to see this team that are battling relegation. I'm interested also to see Swallows. They've signed a number of players.
Sure.
How's the squad coming together? You know, I felt Amazulu have also signed very wisely, balanced signings that they came up with, you know. But in terms of coming together as well, most of the players arrived only this week there. Can we really expect some of them to hit the ground running against Paris this week?
For sure.
I'm not sure, you know.
I think the beginning of a season is always great because there's actually 16 teams I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Being in the Cape, I'm really and I'll be honest, this is the first time I have spent an off season not watching friendlies, because you know obviously we've not been allowed to go to certain things with COVID and all of that. So by now I would usually have seen teams quite a lot, and not just the teams that are like Cape Town City and Stellenbosch, but also teams they would be playing against, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, not this season, obviously, but Best Bits used to come down to Cape Town a lot, or Highlands Park used to come down. So, and well, they're not coming down anymore, either of them. But so it's going to be a nice surprise to see how those teams have developed. And like Stellenbosch, I'm very interested to see, because they've really built a really good little foundation, and I think made some good signings ahead of the season that has strengthened them in some ways. Cape Town City is interesting as well, because like Velile said, there's some exciting youngsters like Gaka and Terence Mashego, who I really want to see. But they've also lost a lot of players, you know, and players we forget that they lost because they left during the bubble, like obviously Roland Pucha, a bigger name, but Chris David also left. Obviously Mtembu and Noradin, these guys left in January already. And Sage Stevens also left, and obviously Kermit's now gone as well. So there's a lot of interesting things to see develop at a lot of these teams where there's been quite a few changes.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I can't wait to see some of the boys who did well in the bubble as well. Ashley Dupree at Stellenbosch.
We've got to wait a week for him though, because he's suspended.
He's suspended, yeah, and also Lele Tuskelem as well. You know, I've always, because maybe I know the people who's in charge of his services. You know, who manages his career. So
Leletu.
Yes, Leletu, yes. And
he's so exciting, because 3 years ago he was playing amateur football, and to see how much he's developed in 3 years is incredible.
Yeah. I see there's been a question around Swallows betraying their NFT players and not renewing their contracts. That one is always
NFT renewal.
Yeah, because look, last season things were different. You know, if you looked at Highlands Park when they were promoted, OTG was very clear that he's not going to discard his squad, you know, and he kept the bulk of his squad.
Sure.
Same goes for Stellenbosch, you know, they didn't start well, they were struggling, you know, but in the second round they picked up, you know, and in the bubble they finished well, in my opinion, you know. So, but also there are those, like you see with Swallows, I think from their squad last season, they left only 13 or 14 players, and they released the rest, you know. And now I think they've signed 14, if not more, you know. So let's see, because it's also about, because sometimes it's not about just the experience only. You want to mix the experience, but also with the element of hunger as well. One team, one team I cannot understand how they've put it together, because the squad is not balanced there. Yes, I'm taking nothing away from their second half performance last week. You know, look, there are some good players, but I don't think the Chakuma squad, in my opinion, is balanced. You know, so maybe they still need to try and do something there. I see that they are everyone's relegation candidates, but they can still surprise us. They can still surprise us.
I think so.
But one thing I can tell you, I see my neighbor here, Tabo. I know that he's a big Sundawana fan. He's already saying Chiefs will finish outside the top 8.
Yeah.
Maybe he's afraid. Saturday is here.
Visa, I think you make good points about Swallows, but like having watched a lot of Glad Africa Championship football this season, I think no matter whoever won that league was going to have to sign players. No one looked like a Premiership team, and it's always unfair on the players that help you get promoted. Yeah. But you know, sometimes you qualified for the world title fight by beating somebody who was a lot easier than the world champion. And that's what's happened is that they're going into a league where they needed to improve their squad. I'm delighted for the old guys that they kept, because I was worried that they discard a lot of them as well. You know, but they're good squad players to have. A lot of the squads, I think, are like what V said about TTM. That's what I'm always find interesting is that when a team signs 4 left wingers and 5 right wingers and they all look good and you think, oh, this is exciting. But then you realize they've got 1 centre back and they're playing a midfielder who converted to a right back at centre back. And, you know, that's my concern. I did see TTM announce some signings this week that were supposed to be joining. We'll need to see if they arrive, because last week they also announced a few players who have since been unveiled at other clubs.
For sure. It's going to be interesting. You're right. They have until the end of November, guys. I guess there's still a lot of movement that can still happen as far as the transfer window is concerned. And by then, we'll have had some games for teams also to see where they might need to reinforce and maybe strengthen before that window gets slammed shut. But yeah, I mean, all eyes will be on the weekend, the opening weekend, and we'll be able to reflect and then come on Monday.
Yep, very interesting fixtures, I have to say. I know that all eyes are at what's going to happen at FNB Stadium afternoon, Saturday, but there are some interesting fixtures all over the country. So let's see what the different coaches and players have got in store for us. But most importantly, tomorrow, Wydad Casablanca is in Alexandria, Bok El Arab Stadium. Pizzo returns to that venue after having won his maiden CAF Champions League title there, you know. But this time around, there's a different mission.
For sure.
In Egypt, he's called the 9th man. And the 9th man is that elusive record 9th Champions League title. So to the 9th man and the undisputed, most successful coach of the PSL, James Musimane, we are with you.
For sure. We wish him all the best. All the best. Yeah. And on that note, gents, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to you two who's been on YouTube, who's tuned in. Rob, we're going to do our best to get you up to Joburg so you can join us in the fancy dress studio so you can wear a jacket. Billy, I'll catch you on Monday. The people behind the scenes, of course, the speech or handling things and getting us all your thoughts.
Yeah, he must come through. He must come through during the international week. He must come through. There's a Safja AGM is coming. He must come through.
Okay, we'll make Thank you to everybody who's been participating via YouTube and, of course, on Twitter, where you might have seen us as well. Thank you. We'll catch up on Monday. Enjoy the opening weekend of the new season. We'll, of course, try to reflect on it as much as possible in the hour that we have on Monday on Soweto TV. Do join us for that, too. From myself, Kamzambata, and from Rob and Billy, take care.
Thank you.
Nice one.